Hey, what's up everybody? Flash here with Flashy Dark Arts, and we're going to talk about HR8 and how the Democrats, since taking control of the House 2 months ago, are already trying to enact gun control. Okay, we're going to separate facts from fiction today, so stay with me. We're going to hit some major bullet points today, okay? So the House just passed HR8, and it's the Bipartisan Background Checks Act of 2019. And you're probably asking yourself, what's in the box? Okay, what's in the bill? So to sum it up, basically they're trying to make it so that if you are a private citizen, okay, and you're trying to buy or sell a gun, you have to have a background check on the person you're selling to in order to get the gun, okay, which basically is going to turn into a gun registry. I'll explain that in a second. I know what you're thinking. It's just universal background checks. It's not a gun registry. They're saying it's not a gun registry. I'll explain to you how it's going to turn into one, okay? And then the second part of it is you cannot give someone your gun unless they are family, the inheritor of a trust, at a shooting range with you, needing it for a professional reason, which means like your law enforcement, private security, whatever, okay? Or if you are in life-threatening danger. How hard is this to get passed? Can't get the voices to stop. Hey Jethro, hey, do you have a gun I could borrow? Cindy Lou's ex said he's gonna kill me and Cindy Lou. Hey, thanks Jethro. Do you have some extra ammo by any chance? You do? Thanks. Oh, appreciate it, brother, you're the best. Now I can make those people at work pay. Now, they're not even making it so that the bill is actually going to stop mass shooters, okay? They're not even doing anything about that. They're still going to get them, okay? And even if they did change that to where you couldn't even borrow it in life-threatening danger or anything like that, what mass shootings would this have stopped? Columbine, right? Where the kids got, no, they got it from their father who purchased it legally. Sandy Hook, where he killed his mother who had a rifle that was actually illegal in that state already. No, it wasn't that one. Parkland, where the 18, 19-year-old kid got a gun legally through the government after being reported to law enforcement and the FBI 24 times about mass shootings and stuff. No, it's not that one. It must have, I know what it was. Okay, it would have stopped the Carolina church shooting, right? The one where the guy shouldn't have been able to get the gun, and the FBI director apologized for it, right? Comey said that they failed and he shouldn't have been able to get the gun. No, it's not that one. The one in Texas, Southern Springs, Texas, where the guy, he shouldn't have been able to get the gun. He abused his wife, and he shouldn't have been able to buy. No, it's not that. The recent one where the guy moved from like Mississippi up to Chicago, and he wound up getting fired, and he shot up all his coworkers with the gun he wasn't supposed to be able to buy in the first place. No, it's not that. It's not gonna stop any of them. The government has failed over and over again in keeping guns out of the hands of mass shooters, but yet they keep on enacting laws that keep it out of the hands of good guys. Nobody sees the problem with this? This is bullshit. So now you have this new bill, HR8, and this other one, HR112, which is universal background checks, and they're saying it's not a gun registry. It's not a gun registry, but that's exactly what it has to become, okay, in order to make it effective, okay? And they keep records. They're going to keep records. They have to. If they don't, it is useless. You know what this reminds me of? The Patriot Act after 9/11, okay, and all those bills that were passed to stop terrorism. The whole point was to stop terrorism, okay? So they started allowing agencies to share information freely, right? Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. And then they started data collection centers to house information, right? And then they allowed certain government agencies to detain terrorists for an indefinite amount of time without legal representation. And then they started putting money into funding PitPat to develop facial recognition software, right? And everybody was like, oh, it's an overstep. And they're like, no, it's just gonna be used on terrorism, right? And they started allowing warrantless wiretaps, supposedly outside of the country, not inside the country, right? And it's just that this gross overreach that people were afraid that was going to go too far. And what did they do at the time? They went, no, it's just for terrorism. It's just for terrorism. Now, you've had multiple NSA whistleblowers come out, or people that are involved with the NSA, come out and say that the NSA is not just listening to terrorists, they're listening to everybody. You got, let's see, Russ Tice, Mark Klein, William Binney, Thomas Tam, Thomas Drake, and Edward Snowden, okay? Google the names, just see what pops up, man. Edward Snowden, this last one, Edward Snowden, the WikiLeaks thing, one of the things he talked about was the Prism program. Prism, like, you know, Prism like goes through, gets reflected, right? The Prism program was the NSA secretly gathering information from Google, Verizon companies, which is Verizon Wireless and also houses Yahoo and a bunch of other tech giants, using them to gather information for the NSA, which is once again used by the FBI and shared with all local law enforcement. Now, this isn't a bad thing. If you're not breaking the law, it's not a bad thing. But at what point does a dictator take over the system and use it to hunt down the certain people that are going to resist him? Maybe it's blacks, maybe it's Jews, maybe it's Muslims, maybe it's conservative white people. We don't know, okay? We won't know until a dictator takes it over, right? So you have all this information you can share. If you don't believe me, check this out. Okay, Google, does Google give information to the NSA?
According to Wikipedia, the National Security Agency is a national-level intelligence agency of the United States Department of Defense under the authority of the Director of National Intelligence.
Notice she did not deny it. Notice she didn't say, I can't help you with that. Notice she didn't do anything but tell you about the NSA and what they do. So back in 2004, Robert Mueller talked about how effective the Patriot Act was and what a great tool it was. And a lot of people argue that the Patriot Act really didn't even stop any terrorism. But I'm sure it has. I'm sure there's some things that we don't know about that were stopped. Okay, now, that was in 2004. Robert Mueller said it was an amazing tool. And then 15 years later, we got the FBI, who uses information from the NSA, okay, wiretapping a guy that's running for president, Donald Trump, right, with information that they got through the database from the Clinton campaign's business partners, right? This is where that information about Russian collusion came from, right? That's what started to get Donald Trump wiretapped, right? And they didn't even get anything out of it. That's the funny thing, man. If you think there's Russian collusion after 3 years and wiretapping all this crap, you think they wouldn't have figured something out? It's gone nowhere. Basically, unknowingly sway an election, okay? And the funny part is it took less than 20 years for the tools that we implemented to fight terrorism to be misused. Okay, so now when you tell me that HR8 is not going to become a gun registry, I don't believe you. When you say that the information's not going to get misused, I don't believe you. The information already has been misused. You've had whistleblowers come out and say that information gets misused all the time. Throughout history, gun registration has always been followed by gun confiscation, okay? That will never change. So when you say that HR8, which is universal background checks, needs to be implemented so that people can't make private sales, the only information that's not being recorded, okay, that has to be done to keep all the information, right? That information goes somewhere and it will be saved and it will become a gun registration. And then it will become gun confiscation. Look at Oregon, where they're implementing 5-round magazine. You can't carry more than 5 rounds, and you can't house more than 20 rounds of ammo. Look at California, where you can't have a gun anywhere in the state, and you can't take it over the border. Look at Boulder, Colorado, where they're saying take your rifles out of the state. Okay, they're eventually going to try and enforce these. Okay, now they're probably not going to work out, but we are slowly losing our freedoms when it comes to guns. Okay, and that is all you need in order to take over a population and implement whatever else you want to implement. Maybe socialism. Who knows? Okay, so it's just something to think about. I don't think our government is bad right now. I think our government is very good for the most part. Okay, I think there's people in the government that are questionable. Now, all it takes is for the questionable people to take over everything, all aspects of the government, okay, and we will lose every freedom we have, okay, regardless of race, regardless of political motives, regardless of whatever we want for America, okay, we will all be controlled by a government that might be tyrannical. So it's just something to think about when we talk about a universal background check and what it might become. Okay, this is Flash with Flashy Dark Arts, reminding you that the road to hell was paved with good intentions.